Something a lot of people don't realize is that the pain you go through in your life, the insanity and all the cold calamities you go through in your life, it helps make you intelligent. It helps strengthens your mind. You see, when you get betrayed by people, when you see that girl that you always loved or you used to date or whatever, if you ever had a girlfriend or whatever, and you see all the signs and the symbols that she's cheating or she's talking behind your back, and then it finally comes to the light that she was cheating on you, with one of your friends or something like that. Now, for the future reference, you're going to remember that. And if you ever talk to another girl or if you ever get into a relationship, you're going to see, hold on, these are the exact same signs and symbols I've seen before previously. So let me not, go down that path again. Let me just cut it off now. Let me just cut the ropes to the bridge and let it fall to the canyon below. And it's the same with dealing with people. A lot of us in this position, we have all types of psychological conditions. We have all types of deep emotional hurts and pains from how people, manipulated us and gave us false promises and false hopes, and how this world just keeps compiling all this disaster upon us. It keeps on throwing all these battles against us. But yet we're still expected to show up and fight, and we have no choice but to fight because you can't back down unless you go ER or you do self-neutralization, termination, or obliteration. So when you go through a lot of things in life, your mind gets sharper. You look at the world differently. You look at people that wake up every single day and they wage slave, and you're like, how can people go 40, 50 years like this? Don't they understand what's really going on? How can people complain about modern life when nobody ever put up a fight? No one ever, got a shield, made some armor, picked up a sword, and went into battle for what is right. Look in the French Revolution, in the Palace of Versailles. The poor people finally got tired of the elites just handling them any type of way. There were people starving in France. Meanwhile, you got the Palace of Versailles, which was an opulent, decadent palace. Nowadays, you have your own Palace of Versailles. You have the elite class. You have people that, some people make $1 million a day. You know what I mean? Literally. These big companies and corporations and the CEOs, they'll give nice pay bonuses to them, but then they reject the workers underneath them, the people that got bills to pay, they got families to take care of. They got a daughter that just had cancer and she needs cancer treatments and payments on that. They got people who have, self-neutralization tendencies, yet they're waking up and they're going to work every single day trying to make it. But all that pain, for certain people at least, will make you intelligent. And what I mean by intelligent, emotionally intelligent. I don't mean you're just going to go through pain and learn math. What I mean is you're going to be observant of people. You're going to watch people's motives. You're going to see how people really act when it's just you and them, when it's just no one around. You're going to really get to know people's minds and their minds psychologically, and the psychology that's behind their minds' philosophies. You're going to see that. And pain can be a deterrent, but pain can be utilized as strength. You see, when a blade is made, a blade has to be forged through the flame. A blade has to be forged in fire. You ever seen a katana blade made in Japan? You ever seen a sword being formed? They flip it, they hammer it, they put it in the fire, they flip it, they shape it, they mold it, they dip it in cold water, and they keep going on. And you have to use the right type of ingredients. You got to get all the impurities out the steel. It's the same for your soul. You're going to get wiser if you utilize, your wisdom that you're going through. Somebody left a comment earlier in my last video, I believe, talking about how his family or whatever, I think he mentioned his dad, how his dad, would like to make little snarky comments in front of him, and how that hurts him, and, it makes him feel bad because that's his dad, and his dad would try to embarrass him right in front of him. You see, emotional intelligence is going to grow and develop because you're going to see, okay, dad, all right, you keep on doing that. So you know what? I'm not going to even be around you when it comes to that. But then a lot of times you're going to be forced in those situations. You ain't got no say so. But then you're just going to have that emotional intelligence to expect it. It kind of shields your mind to know what's coming before it comes. You may not be able to escape the situation instantaneously, but you can have some type of acuity, and you can see, okay, I know my dad's going to knock on my door and say, all right, son, come down and eat dinner with us, and your uncle's here, woo, woo, and you already know what's going to happen. Okay, let me shield my mind. Let me protect my mind for what's to come. I know my dad's going to mention, oh, my son doesn't have a job. He's not working. He's not doing this. He's doing this. He's just blah, blah, blah. He just sits in his room all day, and he just rots in his room, as some people would say, And fundamentally and essentially, they don't know what you're doing in your room. You could be working on a multi-million-dollar idea, just need the right people around you to fund it, point blank, period. But what I'm saying is you have that emotional intelligence now to shield your mom. Okay, I'm gonna prepare for my dad's attack. So when your dad talks crap about you in front of your face, or your dad, your mother, your whoever it is, and you have that emotional shield, like, okay, I expected this. And those arrows that are supposed to hit your heart deep, it's just gonna knock off your emotional armor. It's a deterrent. So all the things you go through in your life, look at it in different types of ways. There's a myriad of ways of looking at what you're going through, you know. And I'm not saying just ignore the obvious and ignore the reality, take it from somebody that's pretty much homeless, you know what I mean? Take it from somebody that's been kicked out from place to place to place to place, somebody that's been targeted by people he doesn't even know, online trolls, somebody that lost all of his family, somebody that always wanted to be, in a certain position when it comes to musical elements and intentions, and somebody that has a different gradient of existence and psychology. I love talking about deep intellectual knowledge. I talk about, female nature. I talk about what men are going through. I talk about, different types of aspects, writing projects, all these different type of things. I'm meant to be a creative. Someone told me this, like, bro, you're not a normal person. You're not meant for a normal life. You're not meant for just a normal 9 to 5. You're meant for something great. I can see it in you. The way you speak proficiently and effectively, the way you think is not like other people. That's why people latch themselves onto you, whether it's trolls, whether it's random people, whether it's, family members. They may watch you in secret and watch you in the shadows. They're watching you because they want to see you fail. They're watching you because they want to compare their lives to yours. They're watching you because they're envious. They wish they could build something up. You may think, oh, what are you envious for what? Let me tell you something. When somebody has a real talent and multiple talents, I can write, make beats, rap, make videos, do all these type of things, and even more. And somebody, most of my time is spent reading. I'm reading occult books most of the time, And when you've been through a lot of pain in your life and you kind of isolate yourself, you become smarter. You understand that being around people is pain and agony. Being around so many people brings so many problems. This is why people self-isolate. This is why they smoke weed. This is why they get into prom. This is why they watch anime. This is why they try to do escapism, because the real reality of this world is pure hell. It's insanity to have so much creative talents inside of you, that spark of divinity, that spark from the pleroma, and yet you're being destroyed and isolated by the damn demiurge and his minions. You see, the demiurge needs to get purged, point blank, period. And you got people that will say, praise this being is this being is that. Look at the actions of this being. Look at it. Take out all your emotional reflections and look at this being for what it is: a monster, a tyrant, somebody that doesn't care about your own feelings and emotions. For my entire life, man, all I ever wanted to do was be successful in what I wanted to be successful in. And it's not a coincidence I never ran into the right people. It's not a coincidence that everybody, who did make it, who I kind of knew, or not even kind of knew, who I knew, they didn't really help me out at all when they got to a certain level, But when I was in a position, at one time, I helped out people as much as I could, It's absolutely brutal when you think about it. But all this pain that you're going through, man, don't let it just be a waste. If you're in your room right now, if you're in NEAT and your family hates you, if you're, let's say you got a disability, let's say you got a mental disability, you got a physical disability, any type of ailment in your soul or your spirit, don't let it be a waste. Start learning how to write. You may not never make it as a writer, but try to have some type of propensity or some type of acuity for something. Because a lot of us in this position, man, we don't want to be in this position. We don't want to be at a certain age, not married with children, not having the car or the house we want, not having our dreams and ambitions met to the fullest attention, But that's just the way this world goes, There's something that's feeding on our souls. There's something that's feeding on the negative energetic manifestational frequency of our souls. And it's frequent. It's every day. Every single day you're going to go through something. Every single day you're going to go through emotional turmoil, emotional upheavals. You're going to go through things that can cause, midday psychosis. But that's just the way the world is, It's brutal. But we have no choice but to keep going on, Gotta be strong. If you look at humanity, there's been so many wars throughout history. There's been so many pointless wars. I was watching this documentary on World War One. It was talking about the horses of World War One and how there was millions of horses the British got, and a lot of the soldiers and all the fronts in Europe got in that theater of war, and those horses just got destroyed. And I'm like, wow, so humans just bring animals into their insanity, but this is governed by even higher power of evil, wickedness, and spiritual traditions. This world is not designed by this by accident. There's a reason why you want something that you can never have. If you're overweight, if you're ugly, if you're poor or something, you see a beautiful girl and she don't want nothing to do with you. There's a reason why that yearning is there, because I want you to take notice of something. The next time you're mad, the next time you're sad, I want you to just stop and think about it. Feel that emotion. Don't let it out. Just feel it for a second. You get angry. Like you play Call of Duty, you're going to get angry. So play Call of Duty or play Fortnite. And when in Call of Duty, when you tag the guy first, and then he turns around and just 360 turns and shifts on you, and then you're the one that has to respawn. When that happens, don't get mad. Calm down and feel that emotion. That's energy, and that energy is being fed off of. Have you ever got so mad you can feel it in your chest? You can feel it, and you want to do something, violently or vehemently? That's an energetic frequency, and it's a negative frequency, and there's beings that feed on that, man. Every single day is a battle. Every single day we got to strategize how we can try to achieve our dreams through the impossible, and a lot of us are not going to make it. A lot of us are not going to do it. Even before this year ends, people are going to end up committing seppuku, which is absolutely brutal, but that's just the way the world turns. And as you get older, you start to notice that the people in your life who really matter. I've lost my whole family in the last couple of years. My close family, my close relatives, they all just passed away. I would have never expected this, a few years ago. It just came and blindsided me. I would have never expected to not be in a highly successful position before my grandmother passed away. I thought my grandmother had at least another 10 years, but it wasn't so. And then not just her, other family members just boom, boom, one after another. It's absolutely brutal, man. And it's like, I have to build all this by myself. I got to build a channel up. I got to build my music stuff up. I got to build everything up by myself. There's no help. There's no handouts. There's people online that targeted you, took you down. I had a channel that I built up, thousands and thousands of subscribers, just 3,000, but right now I've probably been at 4, maybe 5,000 subscribers if I would have kept it. I probably would have had 1 million all-time views by then. And now I can probably be verified and authenticated, and started making revenue from it, But this life stripped that from me. You have people who don't even know you online target you, attack you, dox you, just so they can have a laugh and a giggle. And what's crazy is that was all done by the demiurge on purpose. These people will never see me or meet me in real life. We will never cross paths ever. And they got away scot-free. They affected my real life, all because I decided to just speak about what I'm going through on the internet and just put videos of. I never expected to get online famous. I never expected to have trolls. But someone told me, bro, the fact that you have trolls that are willing to go that far means you must have sparked something inside of them. There's something you said in a video that they just focused on you. They messed up your real life from the internet. You know what I mean? Then you got to start your channel from scratch again. The views I get now are pitiful. A couple of hundred views, that's nothing compared to what I used to get. But I do love the support and the love you guys give, So I appreciate that. And then there's people that I used to shout out. I should shout their channels out all the time. Yet when I'm in a position where, hell, maybe one person can shout me out, give me more subscribers or whatever, there's nobody there. Everybody's ghost. It's a ghost town, like in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, the original one, where it was like, it's 50,000 people here. Now it's a ghost town, But it's cool, man. I built up my first channel by myself with no help, So I'll do it again with this one, just slow, But it is what it is. It's more realer, I guess, Like, you're really witnessing somebody who's trying to become great. Somebody that has talent and attributes and have a propensity for intensity. Yet there's people around who you don't even know. You got family members too who hate on you as well from the shadows. They'll watch every single video. They'll spy on you. They'll mock you. They'll talk about you, but they're watching your videos. If I was truly nothing, you wouldn't watch my videos. You would just ignore it and keep going on about your life. But they watch your videos to try to compare their lives to yours to see, is he still doing bad? Is he doing better than me? What is he doing? He ain't doing nothing. If that person's not doing nothing, why are you paying so much attention? Right? That goes for the trolls as well. It goes to show you that this world is just a big spiritual conspiracy, a big spiritual prison. This is all bullshit. All of it. All I ever wanted in this world was success. All I ever wanted to do was truly be able to do what I really wanted to do at my fullest potential, at my fullest excellence. But this world seems to be resistant to those with a pure soul.